Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Medeva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishwaro Guru Atmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Shri Medha Dakshina Murti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavato Sahano Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Satchidananda Rupaya Krishnaya Krishnakarine Namo Vedanta Vedyaya Gurave Buddhi Sakshine Krishna Dvaipayanam Vyasam Sarvalokahite Ratam Vedabja Bhaskaram Vande Shamadhi Nilayam Munim Sahasramurte Purushottamasya Sahasranetranana Pada Baho Sahasranamam Stavanam Prashastam Niruchyate Janma Jaradi Shantyai. Namaste once again to all of you.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
Namaste, Guruji.
So the sloka that we are all seeing the last couple of classes, Yeshame Sarva Dharmanam Dharmo Adhikatamo Matah Yad Bhaktya Pundari Kaksham Stavaihi Archanaihi Narah Sada. This is the sloka. So according to Bhishma, singing the glories of that Pundari Kaksham Vasudevam, doing archana of that is the highest of the dharmas. This is what Bhishmacharya says. And then in the last class, we saw Adi Shankara adding a footnote to, he has already explained the meanings of the sloka. Word by word meaning he has explained. But then he adds a footnote because that is missing in Vishnu Sahasranama. Why, for what reason is Bhishma feeling, or it is Bhishma's view, that this singing the glories and doing this archana is the highest form of dharma? Whereas in the Shastra, so many other dharmas are talked about. But why does Bhishma feel that this is the highest form? For that, Shankaracharya gave a lot of reasons, 4 reasons he gave. For Vishnu Sahasranama, doing archana or doing the parayanam, we don't need any assistance in any form of any persons or objects or anything. That's what he says, Purushantara Anapekshatvam. No need for another person to assist you to do the parayana, isn't it? Then he says, Dravyantara Anapekshatvam. You don't require all this, cow dung cake and samed and, do a homa and all that for Vishnu Sahasranama Parayanam. Nothing is required. Even water is not required. You can sit and just close your eyes and do the Parayana. Then Deshakaladi Anapekshatvam. You don't need to see, oh, this is the auspicious time, this is the Muhurta, this is the time I have to do Vishnu Sahasranama Archana. Nothing like that. You can have your full meals. After that, sit and do Vishnu Sahasranama Archana. Suppose at night, 9 o'clock, you are about to go to bed. And you feel, oh, today is for some reason, I didn't get time to do Vishnu Sahasranama Parayana. Let me do one thing. This is, even though it is night, let me just do the Vishnu Sahasranama Parayanam and then go to bed. You can do that. Nothing stops you from doing that. So there is no restriction, no rule, nothing like that. For Vishnu, it's totally democratic, free. You can do whatever you want to do, except that you cannot become anti-national. Okay. And then fourth reason, he said, Himsa the Anapekshatva. Because in every other kind of karmas, which is there in the Vedas, not every, most of them, some kind of sacrifice is envisaged. Or even if sacrifice is not envisaged, unknowingly we may be actually, destroying many small insects, ants and all that, which are there in that pieces of wood or cow dung cakes and all that when we do some homa and all that. Vishnu Sahasranama, nothing is involved, so there is no question of causing any himsa to any other life. So for these reasons, Adi Shankara said, this is the reason why Bhishma said that this is the most exalted dharma. And now Adi Shankara, in order to support whatever interpretation that he has given, he quotes from the scriptures. That this is not I am saying, what I am telling you is what I have learned from the scriptures. And these are the scriptures I will refer to, from where you can also read, you can also get the same information. This is one big advantage of learning through Bhashyam. Because if we learn Vishnu Sahasranama only, we may be able to get the meanings of the Vishnu Sahasranama stotram, each individual word and all that. We may know what Vishnu Sahasranama says. But when we read the Bhashyam, we study the Bhashyam and then learn the meanings, we also learn, so many other slokas, so many other, scriptures which are there, Puranas, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, what it has to say about the same topic. We learn about all that. So our actually learning in the garb of Vishnu Sahasranama meaning, we are actually exposing ourselves to a lot more scriptural teaching. That is the biggest advantage. Of course, this is an advantage for those who are inclined for this. Because anything you must first have inclination, and then you must have leisure. For all these things, that is very, very important. Leisure and inclination is very, very important. So he starts quoting one by one. Various sources he quotes. And one thing we must remember, these are all not told by Bhishma. What Bhishma told, Adi Shankara interpreted, and for supporting his interpretation, he is quoting these sources. So he starts with a quote from Vishnu Purana. Vishnu Purana talks about Yuga Dharmas. As you all know, there are 4 yugas, right? Krita Yuga, or what is called Satya Yuga, then Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. We have got. Each yuga, the scriptures, the Puranas contain a certain kind of dharma which is to be practiced in that particular yuga. So there is a sloka in Vishnu Purana, Dhyayan Krite Yajan Yagnaihi Tretayam Dwaparer Chayan Yadapnoti Tadapnoti Kalau Sankirtya Keshavam iti Vishnu Purane. This is the sloka from Vishnu Purana. What does it say? This sloka says that by doing Ishvara Dhyanam, that is meditation on Ishvara, in the Krita Yuga, that is the Satya Yuga, by worshipping through yajnas, homas, etc., that is offering oblations to Ishvara, through the medium of fire in the Treta Yuga, by doing archana to Ishvara with flowers, leaves, etc., in the Dwapara Yuga, Yadapnoti Tadapnoti. By doing all these things in these 3 yugas, whatever one gets, that one will get, whatever favorable results that one would have got in these 3 yugas, by doing these karmas, the very same result can be got in the Kali Yuga. How? Kalau Sankirtya Keshavam. By singing the glories of Keshava, Vishnu, by chanting the myriad names of Keshava, Narayana, that Vasudeva, the same benefit which by doing all other types of karmas we would have got in the other yugas, in Kali Yuga, by just doing Sankirtanam, we will get that result. And here the interpretation is, we have to understand from a Dvaita point of view, because we saw Sankirtanam, Advaita, Dvaita, both meanings we saw. So here when we are doing, we are assuming that Ishvara, we are doing the glories of, singing the glories of Ishvara, doing Archana, doing Parayanam, without any of them. Because in this shloka says, it is not necessary for you in Kali Yuga to do homas and you do the meditation and all that. Nothing is necessary. That does not mean you should not do it. Many people will take this as an excuse. This shloka says that you don't need to do all these things. Just do Vishnu Sahasranama Parayana. Even if with that understanding they do Vishnu Sahasranama Parayanam, it's a very great thing. Because at least that you do. Just Vishnu Sahasranama Parayanam every day. Spend 15-20 minutes. Once you have memorized Vishnu Sahasranamam, the shlokas, 15 minutes, 20 minutes it will take for you to close your eyes and then say it mentally. You don't need to even say it Uchaihi. Manasa Puja, you do in your mind, you just focus your mind on Vishnu Sahasranamam and do the Parayana. That is what this particular Vishnu Purana shloka says. So, from this we can understand one more thing. When Bhishmacharya told Yudhishthira that this is the highest dharma, what was the context? The context was the Mahabharata war has ended. And after the end of Mahabharata war, the dharma has been reinstated. Dharmic way of adharma has been destroyed, annihilated. And that is why Bhagavan Krishna took avatara in the Dwapara Yuga. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge, he says in Bhagavad Gita. So after the Mahabharata war, Bhagavan Krishna has done paritranaya sadhunam, those people who lead a dharmic life, he has protected them. Then those people who have been leading a dharmic life, he has destroyed them. And he has reinstated the dharmic life in this, that order of dharma in this entire world. What is order of dharma? Nothing but the social order which makes everything sustainable, everything live together. That is what is the order of dharma. Dharayate iti dharma. That which sustains, that which upholds the life, the good life with values on this earth is dharma. So that is the end of the Mahabharata war, almost end of Dwapara Yuga. Krishna's job is over. The purpose for which he took avatara is over. Next, what is going to come? Kali Yuga, after Dwapara Yuga. So when Bhishma is, saying that this is the highest or most exalted dharma, this doing Archana and singing the glories, we can understand that Bhishma has got the forthcoming Kali Yuga in mind. And as we have studied in our, seen in this, what is that, Bhagavata Purana and all, Kali Yuga Lakshanas, what are there? Kalau Kalmasha Chittana, we saw the sloka. This is what going to be the personalities of people in the Kali Yuga. Kalmasha Chittam, Very totally impure mind people are going to have. So this Sankirta Keshavam, this Kirtanam of Keshava is being given, and so Bhishma has kept this in mind when he says that this is the highest or the most exalted form of Dharma. This we can understand, right? So, doing the respective designated karmas in each yuga, what all can be gained? The Shastra says that if you follow the Dharma in any yuga, the Yuga Dharma, all Artha Kama Dharma Purusharthas can be gained. But we must remember, moksha cannot be gained by any karma. Moksha can be gained only by jnanam. Let it be any yuga. Even in Kali Yuga, moksha cannot be gained by karmas. So knowledge of the self is required for moksha, for liberation. Atma Jnanam has to be gained, irrespective of whatever yuga is. And none of these karmas talk about Atma Jnanam. They are only talking about doing certain karmas for gaining certain artha, security, kama, some desired things, or dharma purushartha, doing some good deeds and earning punyas. Those kind of karmas is what talk about. So what we have to now understand is that these karmas which have been talked about lead to two types of results. If they are done with certain desires in mind, certain purpose-oriented karmas, and this purpose is described when we do the sankalpa for any karma. So we mamo partha samasta durdakshaya dwarasi parameshwara prityartham. Then we say all that, and then Sagala Purushartha Siddhyartham and Ishtakamartha Siddhyartham, all those things we say in the Sankalpa. So if you have got certain desires in mind for which you are doing this karma, doing that karma will get you all those things. You can gain all that. But if you are doing the very same karmas without any desire, Nishkamataya, no desire, Parameshwara Prityartham or Mahavishnu or Narayana Prityartham, you can do Loka Kshemartham Karma Karishye. I am doing this karma for the benefit of the whole mankind. Loka Kshemartham. Chitta Shuddhyartham Karma Karishye. For the purification of my own Antakaranam, I am doing this karma. I have no other desire. If you do that, then you will get, with Nishkama Karma you do, Antakarana Shuddhi you will get. So these are the two kinds of results we can get by doing all the karmas. And depending upon whatever your objective for doing that karma, that objective will be fulfilled by doing that karma. Right? So one will get the desired result. But we must remember, and Adi Shankara repeats it again and again in all his Bhashyam, moksha cannot be got by any karmas. You can get punya, but getting more and more punya does not mean moksha. If you have got a very huge stock of punya, what are the possibilities? After this body falls from this human body, because of lot of punya, you get promoted to a devata body. Correct? But that body also has got a specific date of birth and date of death. As long as that punya currency is running, you will be in the devata body. When that punya currency getting exhausted, you are back to punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. You may be back to earth or any other loka. Out of the 14 lokas, you can go to any other loka also, depending upon what kind of karmas are there in your karma account balance. Even if you go to Brahmaloka, which is the highest loka, there you are actually with Brahmaji. And Brahmaji is the one who's taught the Vedas. You have an opportunity to learn Atma Jnanam from Brahmaji directly. But by the time of the end of Brahma, even Brahmaji is a position, mind you. Brahmaji is not a permanent this thing. It is not it is like a government job. You can say it's a long lasting, but one day Brahmaji will have to leave his position. Another Jiva will take the role of Brahmaji. All these devatas, Agni Devata, Surya Devata, Varuna Devata, all these devatas, we must understand, they are all positions. They are not permanent. They are occupied by different jivas at different points in time, depending upon what is the lifespan of that particular jiva occupying that position at this point in time. That's all. So a human being with lot of punya, having led a dharmic life and all that, he can become Agni Devata, he or she can become Agni Devata, he or she can become Varuna Devata. But as that Devata also, the lifespan is determined. It is not limitless. After that is over, back to original form. So none of these, punyas, because for doing karma, what we will get is punya only. When we do sakama karmas. So when you get punyas, till that punyas are running, you will have good life. But when the punyas get exhausted, and this punya we can earn only as in the human birth. That also I must say, as a devata, you cannot earn any punya. That is another aspect of that, which will not go into it too detail now. Otherwise, the whole class will go somewhere else. So the punya we can earn only in the human birth. So that punya, when it is exhausted, we are back to this earth form. Then whatever is the body we have to take, we will have to take at that point in time. But liberation, moksha, therefore, cannot be cannot be gained through these punyas. In fact, if you have punya, you can never get moksha. For getting moksha, for getting liberation, you have to completely destroy, you have to burn up all your punya papas. I'm forgetting the sloka from the 4th chapter in Gita. I will quote it next time. He says that Bhagavan Krishna says that just like the sun burns up lot of things, similarly, this Jnanaagnihi, this fire of knowledge, burns up all karmas. Sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute, he says, it makes it into ashes. Only when that jnanam you get, you can get moksha, not by any karmas. Okay. So, but then karmas, if you, as I told you, without nishkama karma, if you do, you can get chitta shuddhi. Chitta shuddhi is an essential qualification or requirement, prerequisite for you to pursue jnana yoga, get the knowledge. Then only if you have chitta shuddhi, sufficient chitta shuddhi only, this knowledge of the self will actually sink in your intellect. Otherwise, it will be rejected as a foreign body. If your intellect is full of all desires, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, all that is there, this jnanam, atma jnanam, will be thrown out as a foreign body. It will never enter your intellect. That's why Kaivalya Upanishad says, na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena, tyage, naike, amritatva manashuhu. Parena nakam nihitam guhayam vibhrajade yadhyakayo vishanti. What did it say? Na karmana, not by action. Na prajaya, nor by progeny. Na dhanena, not by wealth. Tyage naike, but by renunciation alone. Amritatvam anashuhu. Immortality is attained. Amritatvam means immortality. Immortality means what? Eternally living. You don't have any, that is, there is no birth at all for you. That is immortality, right? So it is only by renunciation, and which is what it described, this renunciation, viveka, vairagya, and all in the Vedanta, that the seeker attains the self-effulgent supreme being who is seated in the heart. We have seen Hridaya Pundarikam, right? Pundarikaksham. This is a very elaborate explanation of what is this. Where is this self-effulgent Brahman available for recognition? In the lotus-shaped heart. And it says that Yadhyatayo Vishanti Nihitam Guha Vibrajate. That is beyond the which is beyond the heaven and all that. So even going to heaven and all, Swarga and all, this is a limited travel. This is actually individuality becoming one with the totality. That is what is moksha is all about. And the Upanishad also, many other Upanishads, Kaivalya Upanishad says, Jnanena tu Kaivalyam. Kaivalyam means Kevalasya Bhavaha. And Kevalasya Bhava refers to moksha. So moksha can be gained by knowledge alone, knowledge of the self rather. Then we see in the Upanishads and also in Purusha Suktam, Nanyaf Panta Vidyate Ayanaya. We have already seen this earlier. So there is no other path to moksha other than jnanam, other than knowledge, self-knowledge. And even in Vishnu Sahasranamam, when we come later to the Phalashruti, it is said, Vedantako Brahmana Syat, Kshatriyo Vijayi Bhavet, and all which is said, those who know Vishnu Sahasranamam can recall. So that is doing Parayanam of Vishnu Sahasranama. A Brahmana will develop an inclination to study the Vedanta Shastras. This is what it is said in Vishnu Sahasranama Phalashruti. It does not say that it will give you moksha. Vedanta go Brahmana Syat, right? So that is after developing Chitta Shuddhi, he will develop a Purushartha Nishchayam, an unwavering commitment to undertake serious study of the Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, etc. He will be automatically attracted towards these scriptures. There will be unsatiated desire in him. I want to know more and more and more. What does Mandukya Upanishad say? What does Mundaka Upanishad say? What is Taittiriya Upanishad saying about this same subject? Every Upanishad has only one message, but that one message is conveyed through various stories, various situations and all. Those who are inclined in this area, the study of each Upanishad is a beautiful journey. It is like, people undertake this European tour. They will go to all, Paris, then Sweden, all the European countries. If you look at it, all European countries everywhere look the same. Even architecture of many of the buildings will look the same. But visiting each country, knowing the culture of that country, even within the same country, like Germany, you go, the Bavarian culture is little different than the other. So that is the beauty. So people still will go to all the countries. They are all very near. In fact, in a day, you can cross 3 countries, the border. So there's small countries, but you will see, you will live there and also live. Similarly, even though all the Upanishads have the same message, but each Upanishad has got its own charm in terms of presenting the self-knowledge from different perspectives, right? So all these things you can get by Vishnu Sahasranama Parayanam, but moksha you will not get. But you will get the qualification for the journey, the spiritual journey towards moksha. That qualification you will get, Chitta Shuddhi you will get. And also by chanting Vishnu Sahasranama, one will get Vishaya Sukha. All objects of material happiness you will get. all artha kama related happiness you can get. Suppose you say, I don't want punya, but I want all these things. You will get that if you sincerely chant Vishnu Sahasranama. All that you desire in your life, you will get. So materialistic benefits is there. Then, as I said, Chitta Shuddhi also you can get. And if you get the Chitta Shuddhi and you pray for, Vedanta ko Brahmanasya, what Vishnu Sahasranama will do for you, it will get you a good guru. Getting a guru is not an easy thing. That itself requires a tremendous amount of punya, tremendous amount of chitta shuddhi for you to get a good guru. And then you will get the opportunity also. The circumstances around you will be made such that you are actually able to go and spend time under the guru's feet to learn the Upanishads. This is what it does. And this is not just theoretical, personal experience I have got. The circumstances become like that. It's suddenly like the water, all the dirt or, the muck above this on the floating on the water, they clear. And then clearly you get an opportunity. There is support from all the sides for you, including the guru. Then you get a good guru and you learn. These parayanams, this sloka chanting and all, this is the benefit. But it has to be done consistently over a period of time. You cannot just say, okay, every Friday I will do Vishnu Sahasranamam chanting for half an hour and then it's it. I'm not getting anything. It's not that. As I said in earlier, 24/7, your mind should be on that one. You don't need to even pray that please, present me with a guru. You don't need to do that. It will automatically happen. So these are all the benefits which Shankaracharya is wanting to present. A person who does this, he will get a peace of mind, get, as I said, qualified guru. He will undertake a serious study of the Moksha Shastras, grasp them well, and finally he will attain moksha. And this is what Shankaracharya's approach is going to be in the rest of the Vishnu Sahasranam. He is going to focus more on obtaining Chitta Shuddhi by doing Vishnu Sahasranama Parayanam rather than trying to get all the materialistic benefits that we hanker behind. That's what Shankaracharya's advice is. When you do Vishnu Sahasranama Parayanam, do Archana, do this Savaihi and all that singing glories, you actually focus on getting Chitta Shuddhi, more and more purification. Then you will see this moksha automatically, the doors open. It's like some games and all they have, if you do this thing, this door will open kind of thing, right? But now there is one small controversy which may be there in people's mind. If people have been following it, I'm just preempting a question which can come later. Even though in the Falashruti it has not been mentioned that by chanting Vishnu Sahasranama one will get moksha, the question of Yudhishthira to Bhishma was what? Yudhishthira's question was, Kim Japan Janduhu Samsara Bandhanat Muchyate. So Yudhishthira was referring to moksha. Muchyate, muchdhatu means moksha, liberation, freedom. Freedom from what? Janma Samsara Bandhanat. We saw elaborate explanation of Janma and Samsara Bandhanam right in the beginning. From that, get liberation. This is what Yudhishthira asked Bhishmacharya. By doing what japa, by what doing what karma, a human being will get moksha. This was the question. And Bhishma said, Lokadhyaksham stuvan nityam sarva dukkadigo bhavet. This is the answer Bhishma ji gave. So Bhishmacharya said, one will cross over all sorrows. But he does not say Janma samsara bandhanat muchyate. That was the question which Yudhishthira asked. But Bhishma does not say Janma samsara bandhanat muchyate. Right? So he doesn't say one will get moksha. Bhishma is very careful in the use of his words. He says, Sarva dukkadigo bhavet. They will cross all sorrows. That is what he says. Right? So therefore, when we interpret the meanings and all, we have to note the subtle points. Question asked was moksha, but answer was not moksha. Okay. So from that, we have to understand one more important aspect. That this Vishnu Sahasranama is a part of Mahabharata written by Vedavyasa. And he is the author of Puranas also. 18 Puranas he has written. He is also the author of Bhagavad Gita. He is also the author of Brahma Sutra. So, he was a scholar of the highest order. We have seen that when we saw Vedavyasa's glories, we saw all that, right? In the Mangala Shlokas, we saw that. So, we cannot expect Vedavyasa to say different things at different places. See, we cannot expect Vedavyasa, a scholar like Vedavyasa, to contradict himself. Therefore, whenever we study any text written by Vedavyasa and interpret the meanings, we have to bear in mind what he has said in other texts. And as we have already seen, according to the Upanishads, which has been validated in the Brahma Sutra, the message of Upanishads have been validated in the Brahma Sutra by Vedavyasa, moksha can be gained only by Atma Jnanam. Therefore, in the context of this Vishnu Sahasranamam, we have to understand that the result of Parayanam will be Chitta Shuddhi, which will be the first step in the moksha pursuit. That much is fine. It opens up the door for the moksha pursuit, this Parayanam. And there is one more important aspect, and that is when we read any text with the Bhashyam, as I said, we also gain what is said in Puranas and what is said in Smriti Granthas and also in the Vedas, in the Shrutis. So even though the primary purpose is to learn the meanings of Vishnu Sahasranamam, we are being exposed to so many other scriptural texts which we would never ever have ventured to study. So this is one big advantage of studying the Bhashyam. Okay. I'm just trying to glorify, the Bhashyam. I love Bhashyams of Shankaracharya. So next is Shankaracharya. He now quotes from Manusmriti. In Manusmriti, it is said, Japyenaiva tu samsiddhe brahmano natra samshayah kuryadanyanna va kuryan maitro brahmana uchyate iti manu vachana. So the Vedas, they contain many japas. So by doing a japa, a brahmana will attain all his goals in life, right? To samsiddhe, all goals in life will be attained. So that means that whether you do any karmas or not, japa has to be done. That's why even in Sandhya Vandanam, the most important aspect of Sandhya Vandanam is what? Gayatri japa. That is the very important. Whether you do the Sandhya Vandanam, offering the oblation, Achyutaya Namaha and all that kind of a thing, if you do or not, Gayatri japa is very, very important. So japa you must do. Everybody should do Gayatri. Everybody means those who are initiated into Vedas. They should do Gayatri japa without failure. Right? And that's why, at the end of any karma, we chant Prayaschittani aseshani tapak karmatmakani vai yani tesham aseshenam krishnanusmaranam param Krishna 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 Narayana 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 Shiva, Shiva, Shiva. This we say at the end of all karmas. Those who do Sandhya Vandanam, as I said, will know this. They will all chant at the end of it. Therefore, whether we do any other karmas or not, japa has to be done. This mantra, this Krishna, Krishna, Krishna saying 3 times itself is a japa. Repeatedly taking the name of Ishvara, taking the name of Lord is a japa in itself. That is very, very important. Okay. And so japa can be taken as Bhagavan Nama, reciting the Bhagavan Nama, chanting the Bhagavan Nama. And the moment we take the name of Krishna, what should happen? Not just mechanically say Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. All the glories of Krishna should come to your mind. And you must smile when you say Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. That happiness should be there. I am taking the name of that Lord who is so glorious. That, bhavana should come when we take the name. Okay. But this has got a downside. Some people say, okay, I will do japa, I will not do anything else. I will not do Sandhya Vandanam, I will not do Shraddha Karma and all. I will just take bath and then sit and do japa. That's a downside. What is said is, even if you don't do other karmas, you should do japa. Which means what? If you are unable to do other karmas for some reason, something has happened, you are not able to do other karmas. For example, when you are in the Ashaucham period, that is, some death has occurred in the family, some close relatives. For a certain period of time, you are not supposed to do any puja, any other thing. Right? But even during that time, Sandhya Vandana Karma and Gayatri Japa should not be stopped. That is what it means. It does not mean that doing japa is a substitute for all the karmas. Whatever Shastras are saying, do these karmas, those karmas have to be done. But for any unavoidable circumstance, due to non-availability, as I gave you the example in one of the earlier classes, like in Gulf countries and all, like Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, you don't have any priest. So you cannot perform certain types of karmas because priests are not available. In that circumstances, you may not be able to do the karmas. Not that you don't want to do, you want to do, but you can't do it. Those circumstances, japa you can always do. You don't need a priest to do japa. So that is what this says. So we must not misinterpret and take advantage. Okay, let me just do japa and get away with it. That does not mean that. Okay. Because such attitudes are there. So many people, they will say, why should I perform Shraddha Karma and give food and all this dakshina to 2 priests? I will go and give poor feeding. I will go to some orphanage and give feeding on the Shraddha day. Nobody stops you from doing that. Shastra does not say don't do that. Do this only. But question is, why can't you do this and also that? Why you should say that is an optional thing? Doing Shraddha Karma as per the vidhi of the Shastras, why can't you do that? What stops you from doing it? Nothing but your own laziness or probably your own lack of faith in these things. If you have lack of faith, even if you go and give that orphanage, you will be advertising yourself. Today, Annadanam done by so and so and so. This is what you will be doing. That is also to gain certain glory for yourself. So, we must do anything we think that it is good thing to do it. Shastras doesn't prohibit you from doing, but do also what the Shastras say. After that you do anything, nobody stops you. Okay. So this is how we have to understand all these, mantras, all these slokas, all these upadeshas which are given in the Shastras. Right. So japa doing is compulsory. Everybody has to do the japa. And here in this sloka, the word Brahmana, we must understand it doesn't refer to Jati Brahmana. A person born in a Brahmana family, it does not necessarily become a Brahmana. unless he acquires all the gunas, the characteristics of a Brahmana, as we have discussed earlier. Guna, karma Brahmana, what Bhagavan Krishna talks about, not Jati Brahmana, not just by birth Brahmana. So that is the Brahmana being referred to in this sloka. And that's why the sloka says, Maitro Brahmana Uchyate. Such a Brahmana, who is a Guna Brahmana, Karma Brahmana, is a friend of everybody. Mitra hai, Maitro, right? So from this, we can also understand the one who is a friend of everybody, who has no enemies, who doesn't have any enmity with anybody, is a real Brahmana. If you want to know who is a Brahmana, no dvesha in his mind. Not even a small amsham of dvesha. He is a real Brahmana. And this is what Manusmriti says. Then the next Adi Shankara quotes from Mahabharata. I will read the sloka, but I will not go into the meaning. Japastu sarva dharmebhya paramo dharma uchyate. You can easily understand the meaning. Japahatu sarva dharmebhya paramo dharma uchyate ahimsaya cha bhutanam japa yajna pravartate. Iti Mahabharata. And even in the japas, the Akhandanama japam is very special. Akhandanama japam is taking the name of Bhagavan, one name of Bhagavan. Say Namo, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namah Shivaya, repeating it continuously. Akhandanama. Throughout the day, you do only this. Sit and say Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, one name. Go on repeating in your mind. That is Akhandanama japa. That is special. Okay. And continuously repeating the names of Bhagavan has got its own great benefits. Because whenever we are repeating the names of Bhagavan continuously, our mind knows what thought to be entertained next. Because we have already decided, I am going to continuously chant Akhandanama Japam I am going to do. That decision is already taken and conveyed to the mind. Normally what happens in our mind, the way it works is, when the mind finds itself not occupied with any thought, it will bring in so many thoughts. As you say, devil's workshop, idle mind. It's a devil's workshop. All sorts of nonsensical thoughts will come to your mind if the mind does not know what to think of. Now you give a job to the mind. Hey mind, you are going to repeat this japa. So mind knows, I have said Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Next I have to say is Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namah Shivaya. So the mind is now trained to only say this. Mind does not expect any other thought to come. You have dictated to the mind, do this. You are not led by the mind, do that. Mind will not tell you what to do. You are told the mind to do it. So what will happen? Your mind will be focused only on that japa, continuously entertained. It knows. After I say one Om Namo Narayanaya, next I have to say Om Namo Narayanaya. Next again I have to say Om Namo Narayanaya. It is the same name of Bhagavan. So the mind will be restrained from wandering around, going here and there, and trying to recollect what happened in the office yesterday, what food was cooked in the morning, what am I going to have for dinner. All these thoughts which will keep coming in our mind, they will all be kept away with the Akhandanama or the repetitive name of Om Namo Narayanaya, this japa. And this is a very excellent exercise for developing concentration of the mind. Very important. Because even physically also, if we have to develop strength in our muscles, what we have to do? Physical exercise, we have to repeatedly doing that. By doing physical exercise for 1 or 2 days, we are not going to get any muscles or six-pack abs or eight-pack abs and all that. Just to see those people who have got this kind of a physique, who focus on that only. I want to develop this six-pack or eight-pack abs. What do they do? Spend hours and hours and hours in the gym. Don't they do it? They have a trainer who actually makes them go beyond their capacity of endurance. Do weightlifting. They will start some from 50 kilos and go to 60 kilos, 70 kilos, 80 kilos and all. Why to develop that? How much effort they put into develop that muscles of their body. You can imagine if you have to develop similar muscles for your mind, how much effort that you have to put in. There, all this gym and all will not. This is the gym. Sitting and doing Akhanda Nama Parayanam is the gym. Keep on doing it. You have to decide in your life whether you want a strong body or you want to have a strong mind. That is what you have to decide. If you decide for a strong mind, use the time that you otherwise you will go used for going to a gym to sit and do Akhanda Nama Japa. That is what it is, right? Once you gain mastery over your mind, once the mind has understood that I am not no longer the master, this guy is my master, mind will do all those things what you order the mind to do. Otherwise, mind is quite capable of dragging you to all sorts of, places, all sorts of thoughts, and drown you in misery and sorrow. That is the, mind is a very, very what you can sharp instrument. It can work both ways. It is like a razor. It can be used to clean your face. Be very carefully when you use it, applying soap and doing shaving, razor. It can be used to slit your throat also. So mind is like that. Churasya Dhara, Kathopanishad says, this entire spiritual path is like a razor's edge. So you have to use the razor positively for developing strength of the mind. And Pujya Swamiji used to say that whenever we are doing japam, we can gain control over thoughts coming to our mind. So if any thoughts are coming, you can tell the thoughts, get out, I am doing japa. Just like when we are doing something and somebody comes and knocks the door and disturbs us, we are doing something very concentration, with concentration we're doing some work, and somebody comes to disturb, we say, keep away, I am busy now, we will talk about it later. Isn't it? Similarly, thoughts mind will try to test you. It will bring certain thoughts in your mind. You tell the mind, get out of it, keep shut now, I am doing japa, let me finish this, then I will entertain those thoughts. The mind will do our bidding and we will not be a slave to the mind's biddings. And this will increase our shama. Shama is what? Mind management. Mastery over the mind is shama. Tattvabodha students will recall who are there now. So that will increase our shama. So this japa is a very, very important thing. While on the one hand, you do Vishnu Sahasranamam, Parayanam and all. On the other hand, if you do japa, especially Akhanda Nama japa, for example, on Vaikunta Ekadashi or Mahashivaratri, all those special occasions which are there, you take a sankalpa that I will not eat anything, I will only do japa the whole day. That's it. Just sit before the altar, visualize that Lord, Vishnu or Shiva, Rudra, whatever it is, visualize, and then say only Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayana. And mind you, don't sing. Because you start putting some ragas to this japa, then your whole focus will shift to that raga. Don't sing that also. Just say Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, or Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya. Just keep on repeating. Sit and do it. That's why, during this Upakarma, we are we are told to do Gayatri Japa 1008 times. And Gayatri Japa is a 24 akshara. It's not a Panchakshari or Shadakshari. 24. Just imagine to say one full Gayatri mantra, how much time it takes. To say 1008 Gayatri mantras, and that too, while saying Gayatri mantras, you have to follow a rule of Panchavasana rule. You cannot say Gayatri mantra, Om Bhut Bhusvat Surindam Bhargo Devasini Diyo No Prachodayat. You cannot say that. Panchavasana means you have to give 5 breaks. Om, break. Bhurbhuva Suvaha, break. Tatsaviturvarenyam, break. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, break. Diyo Yona Prachodayat, break. So when you are chanting Gayatri or doing Gayatri mantra japa, you must be conscious to give these 5 breaks. That is how Gayatri has to be chanted. If you chant Gayatri like high speed Rajdhani Express, no use. It will not do anything, any good thing to your mind, or even mind control will not be done. So when you do 1008 Gayatri japas like this, you know how much time it takes? 3.5 hours it will take if you do this. And in the meantime, you should be careful not to fall asleep. Because many of these japas, if you are in the initial stages, when you go on repeating this in your mind, there will be a tendency to sleep. Because mind, has got this what's called boredom. We all it's very boring, very boring. So when the mind gets the idea that you feel it is boring, immediately mind will go to sleep. That's the beauty of this mind. 99% of us and 99% times, we are slaves to our mind. Very difficult. You can control your spouse better than you can control your mind. Normally, spouses are uncontrollable. Each spouse will complain that this person doesn't listen to what I am saying, is uncontrollable. He or she does what feels right doing. That is still better than the mind. Mind is totally uncontrollable. Even when you are decided, I am going to sleep, switch off all the lights, everything, lie down, close your eyes, this mind will watch. This fellow, I will not let him sleep. Then so many thoughts will start entertaining. Why did this fellow talk to me like this in the morning? I saw this fellow, he didn't say good morning to me. So many things will come at that time only, when you are about to sleep rather. So the mind actually can act as a villain. You have to befriend the mind and then do this japa. This is all the mahima of japa, which we must practice as a part of the spiritual path. Because spiritual path is all about these things only. Dhamma, Shama, Dhamma, Uparama, Titiksha. Spiritual path is all about these things only. It is nothing about acquiring a bungalow, nothing about acquiring 2 cars, nothing about having progenies, grandchildren. Spiritual path is nothing to do with all these things. They are all laukika vishaya. This is shastrik vishaya, Vedantic vishaya. So that is where we have to focus if you are serious about this. If you are serious about moksha, right? So therefore, by singing the glories of Ishvara through japa, archana, etc., is singing this is the highest dharma in this Kali Yuga. And this is one more sure way of bringing more and more Ishvara into one's life, which is what Pujya Swamiji always focuses on. How to bring more and more Ishvara in one's life, because the more Ishvara you bring in your life, which means what? You actually start living in consonance or in tune with the entire order of Ishvara. You are not doing anything to rebel against that order. That is what is bringing more and more Ishvara. The more you discover Ishvara, the more Ishvara you can bring into your life. And we can go the nearer and nearer to the entire cosmic powers. And as we go nearer and nearer, what is the final stage? You actually become one with all the cosmic powers, and that is moksha. You drop all your individuality, you drop all your I notion, all your ego is totally neutralized. You have a sarvatma bhava towards everybody, towards everything in this entire cosmos. There is no difference between me and anything else. Everything is Satchidananda Swarupaha only. Once you get that understanding, that knowledge, that is what is moksha is about. You have no enemies. You don't need to be afraid of anybody. You don't hate anybody. Everybody is your friend. So every friend is bound to give you happiness only. Friends are there to give us happiness, isn't it? That's why we have friends, that with the such and so every friend will make me happy. When everybody is a friend, including the sun, the moon, the stars, everything is your friend. You will always be happy. That is what is moksha is all about. We must understand moksha in this perspective. Not have a very limited distinct moksha means going to Vaikuntha and all that, right? So the absolute nature of Ishvara, Satchidananda Swarupa, if we understand, it will lead to more and more objectivity in our life. It will lead to our not getting emotionally hijacked by any circumstances, by any relationship, by any experience. Every experience, we will learn to look at it objectively, understand that that experience or whatever is happening is also part of Ishvara's order. Once we have that understanding, that is what is moksha is all about. Okay, now it's time. We will go to the next sloka in the next class. Okay, I will say the prayers, and if there are any questions, let me try to answer. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Maha.
you, Raghu.
Namaste Guruji.
Thank you, Maha.
Namaste.
Guruji, namaste.
Hari Om Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Namaste, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hari Om Guruji.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Thank you,
Questions?
Guruji. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Guruji, today was an exalted presentation by you, which I enjoyed. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. See, just by understanding the meanings, we have to, as a teacher, that's what I have learned from my teachers. We must keep on reinforcing certain good thoughts, certain good practices through these talks. So that is very important, because Vishnu Sahasranamam Parayanam anybody can do, one can learn the meanings also. But consistently doing it and developing certain very good habits coming out of it is very, very important. Of course, many of us will be doing all these things. I mean, I'm not saying that we don't do all these things at all. But whether we do or not, there is no harm in repeating and reiterating the same thing.
Yeah, your bhashyams now get the meaning of these bhashyams. It has taken time for me to understand why bhashyam, why Guruji can't go into straight name. Now I understand what is the importance of bhashyam. Thank you very much.
Bhashyam is very important, because without Bhashyam, we cannot understand anything, honestly speaking. Even Veda mantras, the Purva Bhaga, the Karma Kanda, there is a very detailed Bhashyam of Jaimini Muni. There is a Jaimini Bhashyam. So if we have to understand the Tatparyam of all the Veda mantras, we have to read that Bhashyam. Then only we will understand why this Veda mantra, why this is to be chanted like this, what is the meaning of this mantra. All that we will understand if we read the Jaimini Bhashyam. But again, that is what is taught to the students who go to this Gurukulam and the Patashala and all that. No, 12 years, 15 years, they learn all these things. But then when we go to our Gurukulam, we skip that Karma Kanda because Karma Kanda is not going to give us moksha. Our idea is to go to USA. We have to apply for visa and buy ticket for USA. What is the point in going to some African country? African country is also good. I'm not saying no. But our journey is to a USA. So more difficult journey. More difficult to get a visa. So that is how it is.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
That's it. No more questions. No
Guruji,
doubt.
I have a question. It's
Yeah.
not a question actually, but it is for the Nama Japa, is it just whatever we feel right, we do it, or does it require any initiation as well?
You see, Vedanta does not believe in any initiation. You are Brahman yourself, right? But if you want, some gurus, they give, some mantra upadesha and all that. So they give that, and if you have already got it, you can use that mantra. That is one aspect. But if you want to start Nama Japa, you say, oh, no guru has given me mantra, so I cannot do Nama Japa. That is not an excuse. You can start, pray to God, bring Ishvara into your mind. I am going, and then as I told you, you can use different Nama Japas on Vaikuntha Ekadashi, you can do Om Namo Narayanaya. On
That was
Mahashivratri, you can do Om Namo Namah Shivaya.
we can do different japas, different namas on different days.
Huh?
We can do different nama japa on different days.
You can do different Nama Japa, but don't mix the Nama Japas. Don't do all the Nama Japas in one shot. Then it will all become Vishnu Sahasranamam. 1,000 names of Vishnu. Because Nama Japa purpose is to focus, concentration. Right? So there, one particular thought occurring again and again and again. The vritti pravaham, as they call, continuously like a water flowing in a river. When that is there, that is the purpose of Nama Japa, and it helps. You can choose anything, so many names are there. But commonly people do, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namah Shivaya, or what other Nama Japa I can't.
When I was when I finished school and when I was entering college, at some point I came across a book by Swami Shivananda, Dr. Swami Shivananda, and then there it was given this Hare Rama, Hare Krishna mantra.
Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, yeah.
So only, I mean, that's there in my mind all the time. And then whenever I'm sitting here, my friend Shobha and all her friends, they have formed a Vishnu Sahasranama group, and they chant every week very beautifully. I cannot chant even looking at the book, and even when I'm looking at the script, my mind is only saying Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I'm not able to focus on the
it is difficult because the Nama Japa has got that power. Many times it happens that when I am actually going to sleep on the bed, the Gayatri mantra will start playing in my mind. So this happens rather if you are actually doing a Nama Japa continuously, but that's not a problem because at least the mind is made, is under control. The mind is doing what you want the mind to do and not the other way around. So that is quite fine. I mean,
because I always feel bad that I'm not able to chant the Vishnu Sahasranam, and my mind is doing its own japa.
That's fine. Yeah. Mental japa is the best form of japa, in fact. Right? If you say Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then the ISKCON people will say, no, that is wrong. You should start with Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare is what you should say. Because they will say first Hare Krishna and then only they will say Hare Rama. So that controversy will not be there. If you tell it in your mind, nobody will know what you are saying. Just joking. Huh? Lighter side.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you very much. We'll see you on next Sunday. Okay.
Hari Om Guruji. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.